The greatest triumphs often unfold in quiet. The sharpest intellects don't raise their voices, they simply observe, absorbing the world around them with a depth that echoes far beyond mere words. In an era where volume is confused with wisdom and spotlight with esteem, those who operate discreetly deliver the most profound influence. We're surrounded by relentless clamor, ceaseless viewpoints, showy assurance, and individuals vying for approval through every utterance they make. It's a cacophony of self-promotion, where social media feeds overflow with declarations of success, opinions shouted from digital rooftops, and endless debates that rarely lead to resolution. Yet, amid this noise, the truly powerful navigate with subtlety, understanding that true impact doesn't require amplification, it thrives in the spaces between words. But consider this stark difference that cuts through the chaos. The noisiest individual in any setting frequently exposes the most, not about the surroundings, but about their inner doubts, their hidden fears, and the voids they desperately try to fill with sound. They broadcast their insecurities like a beacon, drawing attention not to their strength, but to their fragility. It's a subtle revelation, one that the observant can spot from a mile away. Now reflect on this deeper layer. The individual who speaks sparingly, who merely watches with intent focus, who replies with steady accuracy rather than heated flares, that's the one you can't anticipate, can't decipher completely, and can't dominate. That individual, truly, holds immense strength. In countless ways, they're already strides beyond the rest, having mastered the art of restraint in a world that rewards excess. They don't need to announce their plans or defend their positions, their actions, when they come, speak volumes on their own. Friedrich Nietzsche once remarked, "Silence is worse, all truths that are kept silent become poisonous." Yet Nietzsche wasn't advocating for eternal suppression of your reality. He emphasized the skill of timing, knowing when to voice and when to withhold, recognizing that unspoken truths can fester if ignored, but strategically held silence can build immense internal power. It's about discernment, about choosing battles wisely, and about understanding that not every thought needs to be aired to be valid. By staying quiet, you don't yield, you accumulate focus. You gather insight from every interaction, every glance, every unspoken cue. You survey the terrain without unveiling your arsenal, mapping out the landscape of human behavior while others reveal their hands prematurely. This is the essence of strategic living, observing the flow of conversations, relationships, and conflicts like a general on a hilltop, planning moves that others can't even foresee. Outwitting others demands no speech at all. It calls for tactics, vigilance, and self-restraint, qualities frequently overlooked in today's society because they lack flash or volume. In a culture obsessed with viral moments and instant gratification, the quiet strategist is often dismissed as passive, but history tells a different story. Think of the great leaders, philosophers, and innovators who changed the world not through bombast, but through calculated silence, allowing others to underestimate them until the perfect moment to act. But the reality is, the quiet ones conquer battles, not mere disputes. They win wars of the mind, outlasting the loud by preserving their energy, avoiding unnecessary entanglements, and striking only when victory is assured. This isn't about avoidance, it's about mastery, about turning silence into a tool sharper than any verbal barb. This video will unpack 6 profoundly life-altering methods to surpass anyone. Not through heated debates or cunning ploys, but by honing quietude, insight, and inner resilience. Each insight ties straight to elements in your everyday existence that resonate deeply, not abstractly, drawing from real-world scenarios like workplace dynamics, personal relationships, social gatherings, and even internal struggles with self-doubt. You'll discover why certain individuals grow wary of you unexpectedly, sensing an unspoken shift in power. You'll grasp how to interpret others without a response, reading the subtle signals that betray their true intentions. And crucially, you'll see how your quiet becomes your most potent tool, a silent force that commands respect without demanding it. If you've ever been interrupted, undervalued, or sensed your reserved demeanor as a flaw, this content marks your shift, a pivotal moment where you reclaim silence not as a weakness, but as your greatest ally. Perhaps you've felt overshadowed in meetings, dismissed in conversations, or pressured to conform to the extroverted ideal. This is your invitation to flip the script, to embrace the power that lies in restraint. But don't miss any segment of this video. Each element fortifies your subtle might, and every moment equips you with skills absent from formal education, tools drawn from ancient wisdom, modern psychology, and timeless human observation. We'll delve deep into each point, exploring historical anecdotes, practical exercises, and reflective questions to help you integrate these principles into your life. Like, comment, and share if you're weary of the din and prepared to prevail quietly. Subscribe to the channel, and let's witness your evolution, discreetly, astutely, and mightily. Your journey towards silent mastery begins now, and by the end, you'll view every interaction through a new lens of empowered quietude. Master observation before action, a timeless adage to hold dear. He who cannot command himself will be commanded, that's Nietzsche. This isn't about rigid compliance, it's about governing your impulses, about cultivating the discipline to pause amid provocation. In a fast-paced world where knee-jerk reactions are the norm, think of heated social media exchanges or impulsive emails, true power comes from the ability to step back and assess. To surpass others wordlessly, your primary asset is keen observation. And this goes beyond mere looking, it's about profoundly discerning motives, vibes, responses, and behaviors, all prior to your next step. It's like becoming a human detective, piecing together clues from body language, tone of voice, facial micro-expressions, and even the timing of silences in other speech. Psychologists like Paul Ekman have studied these cues, showing how they reveal emotions we try to hide, giving the observer an unbeatable edge. Many fail to observe. They presume, they retort, they converse to affirm their own voice, often talking over others in a bid for dominance. But those who scrutinize first secure the supreme edge, uncovering others' flaws without bearing their own. Imagine a poker player who reveals nothing while reading every tell from opponents. This is the silent observer's game. Here's a familiar scenario. Ever found yourself in a dialogue where someone slyly belittles or provokes you? Maybe a colleague undermining your idea in a team meeting, or a friend making a passive-aggressive comment at a gathering. The instinct is to justify, debate, counter, defending your ego in the heat of the moment. But envision this: rather than responding, you halt and scrutinize. You note their eagerness to unsettle you, perhaps the slight tremor in their voice or the way their eyes dart away. You witness their unease when they can't dictate your reply, as the silence stretches and they fill it with more words, exposing. Even more, you stay mute. Now, victory is yours sans utterance, having turned their aggression into your intelligence-gathering opportunity. Nietzsche held that authority resides not in conquest but in soulful awareness. For you, that means detecting the sentiments lurking behind phrases, dread cloaked as haughtiness, doubt veiled by verbosity, scheming concealed in contrived grins. Expand this to broader life applications. In negotiations, observe how the other party shifts when certain topics arise. In relationships, notice patterns in arguments that reveal deeper insecurities. By doing so, you build a mental database of human behavior, making you not just reactive, but proactively insightful. Once these trends emerge, surprises fade, and without surprise, manipulation wanes. Those unable to rein their feelings often lay bare their full approach, rambling on while you silently catalog their weaknesses. But the serene, watchful, hushed one turns inscrutable, and the inscrutable is perpetually overlooked until the moment passes, often leading to the observer's quiet triumph. Train to hear double what you express. Detect inflections, averted gazes during falsehoods, shifts in stance under pressure. These are the subtle arts of nonverbal communication, honed by practices like mindfulness meditation or even studying books on body language. In quiet, you amass this intel. You turn into a reflector, and individuals unveil their authentic selves to reflectors, projecting their truths onto your blank canvas. Yet crucially, observation isn't solely for info, it's to postpone your move until defeat is impossible. That's the chess grandmaster's way. No impulsive opening. They pause, analyze every possible outcome, then deliver one exact, decisive strike that checkmates the opponent. Apply this to daily life. Before responding to an email that irks you, observe your own emotions first, then craft a response that's measured and strategic. To outwit sans words, hone observation, defer replies, map the arena, and let quiet bewilder before your deed overwhelms. Practice this daily. Start with one interaction where you commit to observing more than speaking, and reflect on what you learn. Drop this affirmation in the comments: my silence perceives all. Make your presence felt without explaining yourself. The loftier we ascend, the tinier we seem to those unable to soar. Friedrich Nietzsche. This quote speaks to the elevation of the self, where growth renders you incomprehensible to those stuck in lower vibrations, and that's perfectly fine. A profound error in interactions is the compulsion to clarify oneself, safeguard one's quiet, validate one's value, recount every action, think of the endless justifications in toxic relationships or the over-explaining in professional settings to avoid misunderstanding. But truth be told, excessive justification invites scrutiny, erodes command, and uncovers frailties, turning what could be a position of strength into one of vulnerability. To outwit anyone quietly, embody a figure whose aura precedes their speech. Presence isn't mere allure, it's assurance. And assurance requires no verbal outlet. It demands purpose, a grounded sense of self that radiates without effort. Historical figures like Mahatma Gandhi or modern icons like certain CEOs exemplify this. Their mere entry shifts the room's energy. Suppose you enter a space and utter little. Many might fret over seeming too subdued, worrying about being perceived as aloof or uninterested. But what if that hush drew others nearer? What if your tranquil, poised demeanor left them uncertain how to engage you, prompting them to reveal more about themselves in an attempt to connect? That doubt breeds wariness, granting you sway over the dynamic without a single directive. No need to disclose intentions, recount history, or rationalize decisions. Your steadiness, tranquility, and non-response convey volumes beyond speech. Consistency in actions builds trust far more than words ever could. Explore this in social experiments. People who share less often intrigue more, sparking curiosity that leads to deeper engagements on your terms. Nietzsche's words remind that those blind to your perspective will deem you minor, not due to your stature, but their narrow sight. That's not yours to amend. Instead, let it serve as a filter, weeding out those unworthy of your energy. Here's a tangible mindset adjustment. If someone misconstrues your hush, allow it. Perhaps they see shyness where there's strategy. If they label you inert, permit it, knowing your internal engine is revving silently. If they deem you frail for not retaliating, let them hold that view, as it lulls them into complacency. The greater their underestimation, the smoother your unhindered, unmenaced, concealed operation, allowing you to maneuver like a shadow in broad daylight. This isn't merely mental, it's tactical. In pivotal negotiations, bonds, or clashes, the one who doesn't haste to bridge quiet or elucidate gains leverage. Why? Others grow keen to fathom you, while you've already fathomed them through prior observation. In boardrooms, the silent executive often holds the most sway. In friendships, the listener becomes the confidant. You outwit by sparking intrigue and doubt. And nothing fosters intrigue like enigma. Cease handing out your roadmap. Don't broadcast your progress, just advance, letting results speak for themselves. Recall, quiet underpinned by robust presence never equates to frailty. It's viewed as enigma, and enigma, anchored in surety, turns into an armament that disarms without firing a shot. To cultivate this, practice presence exercises, enter rooms with intentional posture, maintain eye contact that conveys calm confidence, and observe how dynamics shift around you. Use calmness as a power play. There is always some madness in love, but there is also always some reason in madness, Friedrich Nietzsche. This highlights the duality in human emotions, where even chaos has an underlying logic waiting to be discerned. In every dispute, every trial, every heated exchange, one enduring fact holds: the more composed individual prevails. Composure isn't inaction, it's mastery over the storm within, a Stoic principle echoed in Marcus Aurelius's Meditations on maintaining equanimity amid turmoil. And that mastery, amid turmoil, intimidates the agitator, who thrives on eliciting reactions to feel in control. Picture someone hurling barbs at you publicly, perhaps a family member during a holiday dinner or a stranger online. Typical responses: retaliate or retreat fuming. Both cede authority, feeding into their game. But now picture this: you gaze impassively, not with malice, not dread, but steadfast poise, perhaps even a subtle nod acknowledging their words without endorsing them. No escalation, no retort, mere serenity that allows the moment to hang, forcing them to confront their own energy. That instant, that lull, it's mightier than any retort. Why? They anticipated conflict, not apathy. By not engaging, you invert the narrative, demonstrating emotional independence. When they grasp they can't stir you emotionally, their hold slips, often leading them to overextend and reveal more flaws. That's wordless outwitting, declining their sentimental contest. Nietzsche grasped that amid frenzy, method exists, and we must opt for logic over impulse, choosing responses that align with long-term goals rather than short-term satisfaction. When your poise unnerves, others unwittingly display their vulnerabilities. They amplify, reiterate, deflect, perhaps escalating to absurdity in a bid to provoke. Meanwhile, you reside in tranquil might, conserving energy for what truly matters. This is sentimental combat, your prime tool self-governance, honed through practices like deep breathing or journaling to process emotions privately. Consider global influencers. They don't bellow, haste, or bicker with the immature. Why? Genuine might shuns acclaimed pursuit, it governs vibe, setting the tone for interactions. Think of diplomats who diffuse crises with measured words or none at all. Remember, the fiercer attempts to shatter your poise, the mightier it grows, like a tree bending in the wind but never breaking. In private spheres, this might mean delaying replies to provocations, allowing time to cool and respond wisely. In dealings, perhaps letting folly spill before one sharp datum that cuts through the noise. In strife, maybe a soft grin where fury was expected, disarming with unexpected grace. That refusal to react renders you enigmatic, unyielding, and formidable. Withhold what they crave, offer quiet, leaving them pondering the sequel, and in that pondering, they often self-correct or expose themselves further. To build this calmness, incorporate daily Stoic reflections, review situations where you lost composure and envision handling them with quiet strength. Drop this affirmation in the comments: my poise is my retribution. Disappear to reclaim power. Invisible threads are the strongest ties, Friedrich Nietzsche. This speaks to the unseen connections that bind us, often stronger because they're not overt, allowing for mystery and influence from afar. One of life's most potent hushed maneuvers, and one many dread employing, is strategic vanishing. Not eternally, but purposefully, calculatedly, with aim to reset dynamics. In a hyper-connected world of constant availability via apps and notifications, this act of withdrawal stands out as revolutionary. When you're perpetually accessible, digitally, physically, via messages, others grow indifferent to your being, no need to cherish since they've never lacked you, taking your presence as a given. But upon sudden quiet, withdrawal from assumed spaces, your void echoes louder than speech, creating a vacuum that pulls at their attention. That's the irony. Your hush generates clamor in their minds. Your void turns palpable, forcing reflection. Your enigma mirrors their introspection, as they question what led to your absence. When Nietzsche noted invisible threads as sturdiest bonds, he implied the unseen, untouchable often sways deepest. That's withdrawal's might. It's not about cutting ties but strengthening them through scarcity. Here's a vivid relational case. Suppose someone demotes you to backup, perhaps a partner who only reaches out when convenient or a friend who drains without reciprocating. You could challenge, quarrel, seek clarity, but that empowers them, keeping you entangled. Instead, simply recede. No declarations, no spectacle, no lengthy rationale, just gap, hush, detachment. Focus on your own growth, pursuits that fulfill you independently. They'll either fret and introspect, perhaps reaching out with genuine effort, or ignore, affirming your choice to move on. Victory either path, as you've reclaimed your time and energy. And this transcends romance. In professional networks, stepping back from over-demanding colleagues resets boundaries. In social circles, it highlights who truly values you. Truth. Withdrawing energy from undervaluers liberates you. You restore enigma, rectify disparity, seize the narrative, emerging stronger and more self-reliant. This isn't evasion, it's advancement, hushed, unseen, profoundly disquieting to those accustomed to unearned entry. Your vanishing isn't penalty, it's assertion. That your serenity, vibe, and hours aren't communal, they're perks earned through mutual respect. Only the perceptive grasp their value, and those who don't fade from your orbit naturally. Next, entanglement, undervaluation, or depreciation. Don't battle, dissolve gradually, redirecting your focus to enriching pursuits. Observe your void rattle their self-image more than utterances could, often leading to apologies or improved behavior without you lifting a finger. Practice this with small steps. Take a day offline and note how others respond, building comfort with absence. Say less, but watch everything. Thoughts are the shadows of our feelings, always darker, emptier, simpler. Friedrich Nietzsche. This reveals how our expressed ideas often pale compared to the rich, complex emotions beneath, which the keen observer can uncover. The shrewdest in any gathering typically vocalize least, not for lack of input, but because they convey volumes via omissions, letting others fill the void with revelations. That's reacting versus discerning, a shift from participant to analyst. This insight concerns uttering minimally while perceiving all. It's beyond tongue-holding, it's refining internal acuity so sharply that defense, clarification, or intrusion fades. Your hush forms a void where verity emerges organically, as people uncomfortable with silence rush to fill it. Admit it. Most unveil themselves unwittingly. They prattle, divulge excess, stuff quiet with unrefined notions, often contradicting themselves over time. But in quiet vigilance, you detect trends, discrepancies in speech that hint at lies, tonal shifts by company revealing adaptability or insincerity, treatment of unneeded folk showing character, gossip absent the subject exposing jealousy or insecurity. These nuances are treasure. They yield deeper comprehension than debates, allowing you to predict behaviors and navigate social minefields. Nietzsche's view on thoughts and sentiments imparts potency. Utterances often pale against emotions. But attentive, you discern those, if you focus keenly on nonverbals like crossed arms or forced laughter. Then you'll distinguish authentic from staged, assured from overcompensating, scheming from doubtful, building alliances with the former and safeguards against the latter. Here's a potent tactic. In group chats, contribute sparingly but remain fully engaged. Scan expressions during others' talk, furrowed brows indicating disagreement, nods showing alignment. Note reactions to cuts, revealing egos. Spot dominators versus content quiet ones, identifying power structures. In hush, you'll harvest data surpassing myriad exchanges, informing decisions from hiring to trusting. Twist. Don't deploy observations instantly, let them brew, inform enduring plans like career moves or relationship boundaries. Might isn't mere knowledge, it's timing and application, waiting for the opportune moment. The verbose forfeit advantage. The observer clutches every card, not just interpersonally, but sentimentally, maintaining emotional distance. No need to declare your insight, just persist watching. When they falter, you'll foresee it alone, positioned to act or abstain wisely. Enhance this skill with journaling. After interactions, note key observations to sharpen your pattern recognition over time. Control the unspoken energy in every room. All great things must first wear terrifying and monstrous masks to inscribe themselves on humanity's hearts. Friedrich Nietzsche. This suggests that transformative forces often appear daunting at first, challenging norms and evoking our fear. At times, your most formidable aspect isn't utterances or deeds, it's the aura you bear. Aura needs no sound. It's stance, gaze, even breath, unforced assurance that's sensed intuitively. Entering with self-mastery, others detect it, not bravado, not contrived supremacy, just indefinable presence that commands without commanding. Thus effective. The indefinable eludes defense, as people can't pinpoint why you influence them. Nietzsche's words convey that profound entities, concepts, figures, upheavals, start with daunting veils. Why? Authentic might unsettles ease, defies control senses. Mastering tacit aura makes you that subtle upheaval, reshaping atmospheres subtly. No need to helm dialogues to command spaces. Hush often breeds greater strain than speech, creating psychological pressure. Why? Folks ponder your thoughts, judging, knowing secrets, scheming. That unease, that interest, that's might, turning the focus inward on them. In practice, enter discussion sans anxious banter, settle with serene gaze, eased form that exudes readiness. In disputes, slow respiration over volume, insert uneasy pause that amplifies tension. In crowds, amid outdoing, offer faint grin and watch, letting your stability highlight their frenzy. This aura prompts behavioral reevaluation, shifts focus effortlessly, draws eyes unbidden without you seeking it. Secret. No theatrics, you merely opted out of the show, stayed rooted, unflinching amid the performance. This exceeds social ploy, it's life ethos. Bearing yourself as if your moments, utterances, responses are hallowed, others sense and respond aptly, elevating interactions. The tacit earns utmost regard, as seen in revered leaders whose presence alone inspires. Don't merely occupy spaces, alter them with your energy. Don't just be perceived as a force. Let your hush be the room's dominant force, a silent symphony conducting the flow. When tested, recall, no noisy wins, triumph via poise, aura, endurance that outlasts the ephemeral. Cultivate this through mindfulness. Visualize your energy as a calm field extending outward, influencing without force. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so we can listen twice as much as we speak, Epictetus. This Stoic gem underscores the value of reception over expression, a foundational principle for silent power. We've delved into Nietzsche's insights on quiet and tactics, blending them with Stoic wisdom for a comprehensive approach. But conclude with a Stoic verity binding all. Authentic fortitude isn't boisterous, it's hushed, steady, autonomous, rooted in self-control. Stoics profess the sagest governed sentiments, not peers, focusing inward to weather external storms. Mastering wordless outwitting, via scrutiny, withdrawal, poise, unyielding aura, shifts you from worldly reactor to leader, directing your life narrative. Folks equate hush with frailty, trained to link clamor with import in a society that prizes extroversion. But you now grasp the profound. Your quiet is dialect, audible solely to equals who appreciate depth over surface. Marcus Aurelius penned, the best revenge is not to be like your enemy. No need to outvoice, outshine, or outvalidate, just avoid mirroring their chaos. Let discipline articulate through consistent actions. Let aloofness speak by preserving mystery. Let aura, gaze, stillness converse, conveying strength without expenditure. This isn't mere ploys or methods, it's fresh selfhood. Self-insight is superability, quiet is guard against manipulation, aura as utterance that resonates deeply. Integrate these by daily practice. Choose 1 point per week, apply it intentionally, and track transformations. Henceforth, every entered space, skipped dialogue, ignored slight, all fuel your metamorphosis into a silently powerful being. Inexplicable to the uninitiated, solely experiential for those who embrace it. Embrace quiet, enigma, mastery. Outwit not via decibels, but discernment sharpened through observation and restraint. If this resonates, awakening within, like, comment, share, so others evolve quietly, potently. Subscribe, your self-command odyssey accelerates, promising a life of profound, silent victories.